Hello, here is Magnus from Harmonic Subtones again with a walkthrough sequel for the emotional cello. Let's have a look at the Untitled master patch that we have thought of as a kind of alternative cello. We are starting with some shorts. Quite similar to the emotional cello patch, you'll find the legato articulations from C0 to B0. Let me combine some of them with this example. We haven't talked about the attack control yet. Even though you might not necessarily need it, since all non-legato or starting notes are real starting notes as they were recorded, you might wish to give your notes an extra bite. Here comes the attack mode into play. You can choose between 3 different types of attacks: very short, short, medium, and a combination of all 3 depending on your playing velocity. You can adjust the volume of these attacks with a knob below. Let's first go back to the emotional cello patch to hear how that works. First, without attack. Let's add a potato type of attack. Or my favorite short attack. As said before, the attack function is not necessary, but it's an option. You can experiment with it. There's another cool feature, the rebowing function. Let's say you want to play a note repetition, but it should sound more legato. Or you want to have control over the bow change of a sustain note. You just have to kind of play the bow change by pressing one of the 4 momentary rebow key switches located from C-1 to D#-1. Back to the cello. With a little effort, you can also create pulsing chord progressions with a rebowing function. Let's have a short look at the harmonics master patch. It was the hardest thing to catch and a real torture for the cellist to play all that intervals, but it is that noisy but heavenly fun to play flageolets in legato or as pits. For those who are looking for the microtuning option, there is none, but you can use the pitch wheel for intonation control. Let's switch to the FX page, where you can adjust the pitch sensitivity for the pitch wheel. By default, it is set to just a small microtuning range, but you can increase the range up to a whole tone. On the upper left side, you can find the so-called timbre. There are some timbre impulses you can choose of. The first three are different kind of mastering EQ snapshots from high fidelity to warm, followed by a very roomy sound and a little radio gimmick. Below you find saturation level. Be careful with this one, don't turn it up too high if you don't really want it. And the stereo image, which is especially interesting for the single patches if you want to use the cello as a pad sound. In the middle we have an EQ. To activate, you have to click on the letters. On the right side of the user interface, you can find the room and reverb sense. You can turn on and off. You can select the type of room and accordingly of reverb and the amount of the effect. Down here is an info tab where you can get information over the hidden functions. There's a note about the rebowing, the add vibrato and the repetition key switches. There's one very important hidden function that we haven't explained yet. If you feel that the tone development to full sonority is too sluggish for your phrasing, or the progressive vibrato comes in too late, you can accelerate the tone development by moving the MIDI controller CC13 up towards the value 127. The sound will then react much faster. This MIDI control number is fixed. Last but not least, we have a volume control for the release samples. You can turn the volume down with CC16. Again, this MIDI control number is fixed. So far the walkthrough for the master patches. Don't forget to listen to the single patches, since there are some articulations that aren't included here in the masters. There are some quite interesting and unusual sounds to explore, and sometimes a simple single patch is enough to do a good job. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.